Picture this. 3 weeks ago, she disappeared. No explanation, no warning, just silence. Before that, everything felt fine. Good conversations, maybe a few dates, real momentum. Then nothing. No messages, no replies, no closure. At first you were confused, then annoyed. Then you wondered if you did something wrong, but you didn't panic, you didn't chase. You didn't send long messages. You didn't beg for answers. You pulled back. You focused on your life, your work, your goals, and slowly she stopped mattering. Then suddenly she comes back. A short text, casual, relaxed. Hey, how have you been? No apology, no explanation, no acknowledgement. She acts like nothing happened. This moment decides everything. Most men think this is good news. It's not. Her return is a test. And how you respond tells her exactly who you are. A man with standards. Or a man she can leave and return to whenever she wants. Most men fail right here. They feel relief. They feel hope. They feel chosen again. So they respond fast, warm, grateful, and in that moment they lose all respect. Because her return is rarely about missing you. It's about her situation changing. The attention she wanted didn't work out somewhere else. Another option failed. Her validation ran dry. So she checks if you're still available, not as a priority, as a backup. Her casual message is not innocent. It's a probe. She wants to see if she can come back without consequences, without accountability, without effort. If you accept that, you teach her something important. You teach her that disappearing has no cost, that your time is always available, that your standards disappear when she wants attention. This is not about punishment, it's about self-respect. Because how you handle this moment sets the frame for everything that follows.
Now pay attention. This part matters. Because this is where men get confused. And confusion makes men weak. Her return feels emotional. But it is not emotional. It is strategic. When a woman disappears and then returns like nothing happened, it is rarely because she suddenly realized your value. In most cases, her circumstances changed. Something she was pursuing stopped working. The attention she expected from someone else didn't materialize, or the validation she relied on dried up. When that happens, she looks backward, not forward. She revisits men who were reliable sources of attention before. Her casual tone is not accidental. Acting relaxed allows her to avoid responsibility. If she acknowledged the disappearance, she would have to explain herself. She would have to admit that she ignored you. By pretending nothing happened, she protects her self-image and shifts the burden onto you. If you accept the casual return, you silently agree that her behavior needs no explanation. This is where validation comes in. While she was gone, she lost access to consistent attention. When she returns, she is checking whether that access still exists. Not through effort, not through accountability, but through entitlement. If you respond warmly and immediately, you confirm that your attention is still available on demand. This behavior reveals how she categorizes you. Not as a man she must treat carefully, but as a resource she can access when convenient. A backup option. Someone kept in reserve for moments when her preferred choices fail. The absence followed by a casual return is not random. It is a pattern used to test availability without investing anything. Her return is also a power move. By acting like nothing happened, she attempts to reset the interaction on her terms. If you play along, she establishes that she controls the rhythm. She disappears. She returns. You adapt. That dynamic always ends the same way, with you investing more and receiving less. Understanding this removes the emotional fog. Her message is not about reconnection. It is about access. And whether you grant that access without conditions determines how she will treat you from this point forward. Slow down. This is where discipline matters. Because emotion is expensive here, and mistakes last a long time. When she comes back, most men fall into predictable traps. Not because they are stupid, but because the situation triggers something deep. Her disappearance activated uncertainty. Her return activates relief. That emotional swing weakens judgment. The first trap is relief. The silence hurt more than most men admit. So when she reappears, the nervous system relaxes. That relief feels good. And men confuse feeling better with doing better. They respond fast. They open up. They forget how she treated them. Relief makes disrespect invisible. The second trap is curiosity. Where was she? What happened? Why did she disappear? Men want answers. They think conversation will give them clarity. In reality, curiosity becomes compliance. By engaging eagerly, you give her what she wants before she gives you anything. Your attention flows. Her accountability never arrives. The third trap is ego validation. Some men interpret her return as proof of value. She came back. That must mean I mattered. That interpretation feels empowering. But it is often wrong. Her return usually reflects her current lack, not your importance. Confusing those two leads men to overinvest emotionally. Then there is hope, the most dangerous trap. Hope that this time will be different. That the disappearance was a misunderstanding. That now things can finally move forward. Hope makes men accept behavior they would normally reject. It makes them negotiate against their own standards. All these traps share one thing. They pull you back into reaction mode. Instead of observing her behavior, you respond to your emotions. And when you respond emotionally, you lose frame. Her return does not erase her absence. Time passed. Silence happened. That information still matters. Ignoring it does not make it disappear. It only guarantees repetition. This moment is not about reconnecting. It is about evaluation. Is this someone who respects consistency? Is this someone who takes responsibility? Is this someone capable of treating another person with basic consideration? If you rush past this moment, you skip the most important data point you will ever get. How someone re-enters your life tells you more about them than how they entered it the first time. Men who understand this stop reacting. They pause. They observe. They decide from strength rather than longing. And that shift alone separates men who get used from men who get respected. This is where everything comes together. Because in the end, this situation is not about her. It is about you. How you respond to her return defines your standards. Not what you say, but what you tolerate. If you allow someone to disappear without explanation and return without consequence, you are teaching them how to treat you. Not just her, everyone. Self-respect is not loud. It is consistent. It shows up in moments where you could choose comfort, but choose dignity instead. Welcoming her back without accountability might feel good short-term, but long-term, it weakens your frame. And once your frame weakens, attraction follows. You do not need to punish her. You do not need to manipulate her. You do not need to prove anything. Your power comes from outcome independence. From knowing that whether she stays, leaves again, or disappears forever does not define your worth. If she acknowledges her absence and takes responsibility, you learn something positive about her character. If she avoids it, minimizes it, or becomes defensive, you also learn something valuable. In both cases, you win. Because clarity is power. A man with options does not cling. A man with standards does not negotiate respect. He observes behavior. He sets boundaries calmly. And he walks away when those boundaries are ignored. Her return is information, not an opportunity to chase. Not a reason to hope. Information about reliability. Information about maturity. Information about whether this person belongs in your life at all. When you respond from self-respect, you maintain your dignity regardless of the outcome. You stop repeating patterns that drain you. You stop investing in people who do not invest back. That is the real goal, not keeping her, but keeping your self-respect. Because the right people never require you to abandon it.